Good evening. This is Sarah High reporting outside the convention hall. We have finally finished for the day from the House of Deputies, and lots of interesting things happened. DO25 came back very slightly amended from the House of Bishops, and so they voted to approve DO25 in a vote by orders, which was good. It was an interesting generational gap in my own deputation that I just have to point out. In the Diocese of Upper South Carolina, Dean of the Cathedral, Phil Linder, spoke for DO25, saying that we needed to get on really with the work of the Episcopal Church, and that this was turning the page on a historic event. You can read some of those comments in my live blog on that. And then Zach Brown, a youth delegate from our diocese, spoke against DO25, and so that was maybe a 30 or 40 year age gap, very interesting generation gap there. We then moved to the litigation expense resolution later on, and the litigation expense resolution is one put forward by the West Texas deputation asking for transparency in litigation expense. It's very interesting. It got through the House of Bishops what they wanted to do with a recommendation to refer it to a committee. There was a lot of debate on the House of Deputies floor, essentially saying that that those supporting the resolution did not want to refer it to a committee. They wanted to basically try to approve it, and it was very challenging to do that. They needed to basically either amend it or offer a substitute resolution. I think at this point, tensions on the floor became far more serious than they have been on any other day. For example, one deputy rose and blasted the authors of the resolution, stating that they were merely trying to steal property. And that's why they wanted to know how much money was being used for litigation expense. It was very odd because obviously the people putting forward the resolution were within the Episcopal Church and had not tried to steal property because they had not left the Episcopal Church. Logan of South Carolina then pointed out that that was in violation of the rules of order for the House because it engaged in an ad hominem attack, and that was just in violation. Anyway, there then was more tension because 2/3 of the vote was needed to terminate debate. At the beginning of every House of Deputies meeting, there is an announcement from the secretary that says how many people are needed to terminate debate. 2/3 of the numbers of people that are on the floor, and they figured that out. I think in this case it was 555 or something like that. They had a motion to terminate debate. It was declared to be 2/3, whereupon Sites of West Virginia raised the point that, in fact, the number had not been reached for 2/3 to close debate. There was some hustle and bustle on that, and then the president announced that it was 2/3 of those who had voted, not of those who were on the floor of the House of Deputies. And at that point, Professor Pritchard of Virginia rose to appeal the ruling of the chair, pointing out that there was no reason to announce at the beginning of a session of the House of Deputies what the number was to reach 2/3 if you didn't actually use that number. The chair announced that she was losing patience with the House in bringing up these rules of order because it was slowing down the action of the House. I'll move on from there. They then began work on the retired bishops announcement. They are basically taking away vote from the retired bishops. It was an interesting debate that people can take various sides on. And then finally, this morning, just to remind everyone, COO1 passed the House officially, and that was to add those of transgendered identity to the canons. Thus, you are not able to, you must consider those who are transgendered for ordination. That doesn't assume they would be ordained, but they are at least added to the canons. And we'll see what the House of Bishops says about that. Reporting, and I'll see you later on tomorrow. Bye.